Hello everyone, and welcome to our release video, which covers the new quarterly release from IBP 2408. My name is Sander,
And I'm Thomas.
and we're both supply chain experts at Flexo company. And today we will be covering four topics. The first of which is the generative AI assistant called Joule, introduced by SAP. Then we'll be covering something that seems to be coming back every update. It's called improvements on planner workspaces. Then a new feature, characteristic-based planning. And finally, we will have a look at the new Fiori app called Orders. The first topic is for my colleague Thomas, so I'll give him the floor.
Yes, thank you. So, first I will talk a bit more about the new AI assistant that SAP has released called Joule. So, just like every other company tries to do as much as possible, they jump on that AI trend and they present their new AI assistant in this release. So, Joule is meant to be like a sort of co-pilot for the users that truly understand your business needs. And it is currently embedded with a lot of AI capabilities. And for us, the most important one is, of course, supply chain management. That's what we're going to talk about. So, for example, imagine you're a planner and you have a lot of use cases where AI is very useful. AI can drive the efficiency or the explainability of certain steps in your S&OP process or just your S&OP process in general, which ultimately leads to a better interaction between the users, the planners, and the IBP system in general. So you can have quick answers to potential questions about specific terminology or processes. So for example, if you don't understand the terminology that is coming up in your plan or in a certain document or something, you can just easily type it into the new AI assistant, and it will give you a summary of what that specific terminology means and all of other handy links and tips. So it will provide on-the-spot access to assistance, content, and product feature information. So for a planner, it's very handy because it will eliminate the complexity of the search, so you don't have to spend hours searching for, okay, what does this exactly mean, or where can I use it or something. No, Joule will immediately tell you, and it will save you invaluable time within your working day, which I think is, everyone loves that. So something to note is that it's the first release that this new AI assistant is available. So it's currently only available in early adapter mode. So only available based on specific customer requests. So if you want to use this, you will need to specifically request this new module. I will quickly show briefly how it will work. So I think everyone knows how a chatbot works. So like on the bottom right corner or the bottom left corner, depending on which side you're on, you have like a little box that has the assistant, and it will provide you with answers to most questions or questions that are frequently asked. So for example, now you're demand planning, you say, okay, how can I release a new product or introduce a new product in a new market? Okay, you just open Joule, you type in your IBP related question, or in this case, how can I introduce a new product into a market? Joule will give you a short summary of what kind of steps you need to take, and it will provide you with very useful links to the official SAP documentation, which you can click on and then broaden your knowledge, and so on and so on and so on, until you fully understand the topic or the process. It's very interesting. So if you want to know more about it, I would advise you that you click on the link that we attached in the slide. And this is the official SAP release YouTube video. So if you want to know more about it, please go click on it. So I think very, very interesting.
AI really seems to be the future, and I'm interested in what the future brings for IBP.
Indeed.
Now, the next topic is general improvements on the planner workspace. And let's be honest, the first three topics are minor but not insignificant. That's, for example, there is an introduction of formulas. And if you know the Excel UI, formulas can be compared to local members. What planners can do is they can create calculations on the spot without having to create a new key figure, like deltas or percentage calculations based on existing key figures. And of course, as is the case with local members, if data is updated, automatically the formulas will be updated as well. Next, attribute-based totals and totals are introduced, as is the case in the Excel UI for quite some time. And then finally, users can personalize and improve the user experience with conditional formatting, a feature, in my opinion, that has been long overdue. All of these 3 features are demoed by SAP in the video, which we will link in the video description. And the final improvement we want to focus on for the planner workspaces is called master data components. So basically, a planner can streamline his or her workflow with the maintenance of master data directly in the planner workspace. So what it means in human terms, the Manage Master Data app is now embedded in the planner workspace, and it has the same core features as the Manage Master Data app, like creation of master data, deletion, updating master data. It's all there in the master data component. And again, there is a small demo which will be linked into the video description. And the third topic is again for Thomas.
So now I will go a bit deeper into characteristic-based planning. So this is a new type of planning that they want to introduce within IBP, and why is it basically necessary? Within a whole catalog of products for a company, there are maybe small differences between very similar products, so a lot of product diversity, and with this type of planning, you can easily distinguish the small differences, and so on and so on. For example, also companies now will have a very complicated production process, so this type of planning can really be useful for planners to make it a lot of easier in their thought process and to easily go on work with those complicated processes. And of course, we're living in a world where a lot of rules exist, where a lot of laws exist, and you need to comply to those laws or those rules if you're in a specific sector, and this type of planning will make that a lot easier for you. So just as other types of planning do, characteristic-based planning will empower planners to match demand and supply and harmonize your supply chain processes across your whole network. But then now with characteristic-based planning, it's based on attributes of your products, of your demands, and your supplies. I do need to mention this is part of the response and supply module and currently only available for order-based planning. So for the customers that do work with this type of planning, you're going to be very interesting in what I will tell you in the next few slides. So how does it work? I will shortly tell a bit more about how it's set up. So we will first define your attributes that are linked to demand, supply, or your sources of supply. And this you can define in the new app called attribute sets. So for example, if you take a look at the screenshot, you can set stuff like your country of origin, your business segments, or your colors. And you can define, okay, is this relevant for my demand? Is this relevant for my supply? Or is this relevant for my source of supply? You can define it for all 3, for one of the 3, however you want to set it up. Next, you can dive into your characteristic-based planning profiles. These profiles, they will house the rules for the decisions for steering the supply based on the attributes that you defined earlier. So you can set specific demand selections and supply matching conditions in these profiles, as well as, if you need to create additional supplies, you can also define conditions for that. So for example, if we take a look at the screenshot, you can say, okay, for demand that has this type of quality or is coming from this segment, you can define specific values for those attributes. You can say, okay, if I have demand of that kind, I want to match it with supply that can be of any quality that come from different segments, whatever you want to decide. But it needs to be first maintained, of course, in that master data. Then something very important to mention, it's linked to order-based planning, and it will only be available for the finite heuristic as of now, so not the optimizer yet. Maybe we will need to know in the following releases. And this will then match your supply and demand based on the profiles you have added or that you have created previously. So there's a new section when you define the operator where you can say, okay, I want to use this profile, and then you can check in your projected stock or other apps what the results of the finite heuristic is. So I think something to look very forward to. But again, now it's only in early adopter mode again. So it's only for specific customer cases. So if you have a specific customer case that might be linked to this, this will be very interesting for you. But there is a lot of planned in the rest of this year and a lot of planned in the next year. So I will certainly look out for this interesting feature.
All right, nice. And then finally, it's called a new app also for order-based planning called Orders. So basically, it's a new Fiori app which you can navigate to via a tile or directly via the projected stock app, in which you will immediately see order details. So what does this app what does it do? It basically gives you a list of all the orders, and you can search on various criteria for specific orders. You can group orders, you can flexibly sort them, and of course you can look at details of orders without losing the oversight. Important to mention, it's still an early app, but SAP promises gradual improvements upon the next releases, and in my opinion, it will definitely improve usability of order-based planning and user friendliness. So I think I have high hopes for this app. So that was it for our 2408 release. If you have questions about these topics or on IBP in general, don't hesitate to reach out either via our site or via LinkedIn. The last thing I need to do is to thank you for listening, and let's see you in 3 months.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.